was always, yeah, 100 mile an hour.
I used to say to my dad in the car when he was a little boy, I'm going to be a world champ granddad. So yeah, from that age, that's all he wanted to be, was a world champion.
Riding a 250 kilo, 350 horsepower, long stuff, carbon brakes to the best of your ability for 45 minutes. It's no joke. Far back as I can remember, I remember sitting on the bike with him, going for rides on the bike down the street with him. I mean, I was already addicted to my BMX bike, and then once I had a turn, I was like, that's me, I'm sorted. And yeah, since that day, I've never turned back.
Nothing. I could come down here and find 3 motorbikes parked against 3 different trees, all in different states of knackered, you know. It was just, yeah, Jack being Jack. He could break stuff and he'd just find a way of getting stuff going again and go and break it again and just push everything to the limit.
Family sacrificed everything. For one, I mean, they mortgaged this place twice to keep rides up to me in the beginning. Dad had a lovely boat that he had to get rid of so that I could go racing. You know, it was a lot of sacrifice.
He's had to learn to fight, and without the tenacity and the love of the sport that he has, a lot of people wouldn't have made it.
I don't think he has fear. That's probably the #1 thing that he honestly wants to win, whether it's riding in the backyard to MotoGP. If there's anyone there that he can race, it's always a race. He's always got to be the best.
Your start was incredible. I was like, you were there, and I'm like, just got swamped.
We lived like vagrants, really, like gypsies, so it was very unsettling, and you're trying to make it a home, but one minute you're in Barcelona and the next minute you've got to be in Holland and things like that, so you'd have to drive across, and then work required Peter to come back to Australia and step back in over here, so that left Jack and myself in the big motorhome and the trailer.
Sonia stayed there. I think she was there for probably 3 years. I'm not one. I'm probably a bit the same as Jack. I don't like to start a job and not finish it. So, you know, we'd started the job, we had to finish it.
It was challenging, but years that I look back on and smile, you know, they were tough as going through it, because the uncertainty, I guess you could say, of it all. Not knowing if you're going to be able to race next year, not knowing if you're going to be able to race next week, but definitely times I look fondly back on.
For Assen, I was here, Peter was on his way to Cambodia. I've got the kids here and I'm lying on the floor because I was like, oh my God, what's going on? He's going to win. I had to lie on the floor physically because I was just like overheated and didn't know what was going on. It was so late at night and stuff, and then he did win. It was crazy. It was absolutely bizarre.
Oh, it's probably just determination, I think, with Jack. I think it's like a combination. He doesn't like to show it, but he's a pretty clever sort of a bugger, you know. He's a pretty smart guy. So you couple that with absolute determination, and you know, you get results at the end of the day.
My all-time favourite race would have to be probably Japan last year. Getting the win, being able to do it in dominant fashion, like we did, lead, work my way to the front and then lead from the front was awesome. So yeah, to repeat that would be amazing.
He's always said that this is the spot. There's no place like home. There's a freaking good reason for that.
Townsville's kind of different. It's right up the top end of Australia, so generally got good weather all year round. It's always pretty hot. Big enough that you've got pretty much everything, but small enough that you still kind of get that small town vibe, I guess you could say.
The opportunities for him to ride anything or drive anything are so vast here. He's very lucky.
What did you have for dinner last night, Pete? Leftovers?
Yeah, I grew up on the same cat dozer, I suppose, that the boys did, you know. The old man had an old D25J, 1948 model, I think it was. Crawler tractor, so yeah, hill country in New Zealand, so that's all he could use to get around. So he's been operating machinery since he could walk. Basically, as soon as he could ride a motorbike, he was thinking how to make tracks better and, you know, change this, change that. So they got pretty used to it pretty quick.
So hard, Joe, sometimes.
I don't know if anyone's tried to ring him, but you can never get hold of him. He basically flicks a switch when he's home. He basically lives in two different worlds.
Well, if he's lucky because he's got all the toys, thanks to Cat, then he can get out there and he can drive and move dirt and pretend, well, I don't know what he pretends that he is. That she's a big contractor.
Growing up, watching Supercross, all that sort of jazz, you know, you always see the track maintenance guys go out there straight away and Cat dozer and Cat skid steer, so sort of lock yourself in there in your own little world, go to work, listen to a podcast, and, you know, it makes it, I find it almost like a meditating sort of session where you can go in there and sort of get in the zone, and every time I seem to do it, every time I seem to rebuild the track and fix it up and whatnot, I feel I'm getting better as an operator and understanding the machine more and more. To have the freedom and the space to do this in your own backyard, I mean, to come back to the farm, not really have to leave the postcode very often, is really nice. Since we moved out to the farm, I think it was like 2004, 2005, something like that, I pretty much spent every single day, whether rain or shine, out riding, whether it be farm bikes, motocross bikes, whatever I could. I was fortunate enough that Dad kept bikes up to me because I'd brake. But yeah, I definitely love it. Definitely use it for training as for MotoGP. It's a key part of my training for racing the road bike, because we spend such a long time without being able to ride the MotoGP bike. They're closest thing in terms of physicality overall. Of course, you need your cardio base, you need your strength base, but in terms of that high heart rate, trying to focus on what you're doing, reading the situation as it's coming to you, I don't think anything else really compares to it. Ruby being from Townsville as well, it's always nice for us to come home. But yeah, getting some downtime sort of away from getting on aeroplanes and being here, being there, coming home, sort of switching off. We're all very close. My sister lives about 1 kilometre that way and my brother's about 3 kilometres that way, so. And Mum and Dad are literally 500 metres that way, so we're all very close-knit, closer than most families, I guess you could say. But it's so nice to come back and just catch up with everybody and sort of be normal for a little bit.
I think he just loves the family environment and everyone all together, so I think that's important to him.
Who's in my family? Mum and Dad. I got an older brother, Fergus, and a younger sister, Maggie. We're all married now, so we've got Ruby, I've got Ruby, there's Nat, my brother-in-law, and Kirsten, my sister-in-law, and Tex, my nephew. That's him, he's the one.
There's no place like home really for anybody, I think, and sort of gets that when he gets back. It's been really nice this year. It's the longest time that he's been home, so it's been great.
Yeah, it's awesome to come home and do these one-off events like the Bend, surrounded by your friends and family.
What are you wearing today? What are you wearing today?
For me, it's a lot less stressful, I guess you could say. I mean, it's you're more there for a good time. Of course, at the end of the day, we all want to do well, but you're there to enjoy the whole weekend and the whole process with your mates and like I said, family.
She's getting a bit buck all every lap.
For the band, Jack basically showed up once everything was down there.
To locate it.
He threw some orders around leading up, but he got down there and basically was there when we were setting up from the word go. He was hanging around in the garage, probably being a pest more than anything, but vacuuming the carpet was like his #1 job.
Oh, he's the most loyal friend. He just would give you the shirt off his back, literally. He's doing this not just for himself, it's for everyone to enjoy the spoils of what he's got, sort of thing. So, and I think that's why he loves coming home the most with his really good mates. Like, he's got a cool group of friends and they just have fun and they laugh, and to see them laughing is just so good. It's so good.
I love the spirit of competition. I love, like I said, challenging myself. I love the whole camaraderie, I guess you could say, of going racing and, yeah, putting yourself on the line, sort of thing. That adrenaline rush, I guess you could say. It's definitely what I'm hooked on more than anything.
Yeah, pretty happy with it all. Bike was working well. Yeah, managed to put it together, not once but twice. Pretty happy with both laps, and good spot for tomorrow's race. We're going to need it after this practice start. It was pretty terrible. Bad, mate. But no, I feel quietly confident.
Aussie fans are definitely very passionate. They love the sport. You have to be a fan of MotoGP when a majority of the races are on at 3 o'clock in the morning here at home, and you know, a lot of them do wake up at Sparrows to get up and watch the race, which is unreal. I mean, they're more dedicated than most fans, I believe, around the world.
Unreal. I get through these, no dramas, no mate.
So that's awesome to be a part of and have such a cool following from home like that.
We made it through by the skin of our teeth this morning, but no, pretty happy with how it all went. The bike's working good, I felt all right, so just have to improve on the next one.
I love racing my bike, I love challenging myself. I like I said, throwing myself in the deep end.
He just likes to have a good time and race motorbikes, so it's good to come here and go back to the roots and have a little bit of fun.
Yes, first of all, it's good to be back. It's you know, awesome to be here. As you've seen over the weekend, we've been down outside the top 10. I've had to work for this one, but it feels good to be back on that front row.
some sort of problem for Jack Miller, and Miller looks like he is out of this race early on.
They think that a gear position sensor has failed, so no traction control and no electronics at the moment, but they still need to confirm that.
DNF in race one, not what we wanted. Things were going great right up until I passed for third and the red flag came out. As I came out of the corner, the bike sort of made a pop and lost all electronics.
And then I come to turn 6, and as I came out, as I loaded the rear tyre, the chain just went like over the sprocket, and I was like, that's not good.
We're trying everything we could. We changed gear position sensor and stuff like that, and still couldn't get the ECU to recognise that it had a new gear position sensor. So we ended up having to piggyback another ECU off another standard bike. After that, we could plug our ECU back into it and it could work it out. So don't ask me how or why, but we managed to do so. It was a lot of head scratching at that point in time though.
Now, you are on a few duties this weekend. You're here as the manager of Thriller Motorsports, serious boss man, but you're also here to have a good time and race with your mates.
Yeah, exactly. No, we've achieved feel both those things. So everyone's having a great time. We're semi-competitive, so that's the main objective. And no, we'll see what we can do here in race 2.
We're ready to go racing for the final time in 2022. Superbikes are go starting up. Charging down the inside is Jack Miller, and Miller will lead them through turn 1 for the first time. There goes Jones up the inside, and he's made Jack stand the bike up. Oh boy, I don't think Jack was expecting this sort of pressure. Santa Agis has gone through on Miller as well. Miller's just sitting back watching this, enjoying the show. Not much more that he can do than what he's done out there on that virtually standard bike. Fantastic to see that cat bike out there. It's a shame he couldn't finish that first one. But you forgot the most important thing to say about Jack Miller from all of us here in Australia. Thank you so much for coming here with your team and showing us what you can do at a local level, because it's just been an absolute pleasure to come here and watch, you know, Jack ride around the track with his new team.
They said they did a scan on his heart the other day, and he was joking. He said, oh, they said it's really big. And I said, well, of course you've got a big heart, and all his friends know he's got a big heart.
The goal is definitely in both, to do well and to have fun. We did well, but we always want to do better. But I think we definitely had plenty of fun. So we race as a team, we crash as a team, we have those failures as a team, but we also win as a team. So you got to take the good with the bad and understand, okay, those things can happen, but try to learn from them as well as best we can and try not to repeat them in the future. Understanding what steps I need to make in order to make that next step. Having the right mindset, I think, is definitely the biggest thing, and something I'm learning more and more as I get older, to direct my energy in the right direction and focus, like I said, on things that I can do and not waste my time or my energy on stuff that I can't control. Because at the end of the day, MotoGP race is so long, it's physically demanding. You go for 3 days in a row, so by the time, you know, if you're not fit, by the time the third day rolls around, you're going to be feeling it. It's like a decathlon kind of thing, because so many different parts of your body you need to have that strength or that endurance in. So trying to get them all in the best, let's say, condition you can, just focusing on one sport won't do it. So to cover a lot of different bases, whether it be cycling, running, gym, motocross, I've got to mix it up and be good at many different things in order to be able to take the best out of my body on the bike, because you're using so many different parts of your body while riding the bike. I think if you're able to keep yourself in a good headspace, as well as having a good balance where, you know, I'm able to have my outlets on other sort of motorbikes and other sort of things in my life. And MotoGP is my life, but it's not my complete life. I'm not there all the time, you know what I mean? I'm able to turn off for a month over Christmas and just not think about riding a road bike at all, just sort of go away, enjoy my time on the farm, riding bikes, hanging out with my mates, hanging out with my wife and doing that kind of thing. So I think having a healthy balance is definitely really a key point in that, not getting too wound up and too hyper-focused, I guess you could say, on some areas. It's been an amazing journey working for and riding with Ducati course, you know, over the 7 years I think I was there. You know, a lot of highs, a lot of lows, some difficult moments, some great moments. I've learned an amazing amount through the great engineers and great people that I've worked with in the factory. And of course, you're always sad to see it end, but also really excited to see what the future holds with KTM and stepping into their project and taking on a new challenge. My first race bike was a KTM. The history is definitely there. So yeah, coming back, I mean, I've been a loyal KTM customer my whole tenure at Ducati. For me, going back there is kind of going home, I guess you could say. Also having the success in the Moto3 category with them. Super excited to get underway and try to make the most out of it.
I think he's got a bit of a point to prove this year, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do with the new Orange Beast, that's for sure. And they know what they've got with Jack. They know what he can bring to them. That's what they chased. You know, they got him on board for that reason. It'll be interesting to see the development of that bike come along. KTM's another one of those companies that's really got the will to win, you know.
He's very positive, he's very excited, and I think deep down he's really keen to get back and get the year started and build with that team.
The key ingredients are kind of tough because you never know until you've sort of shaken the bike down in Sepang, but I think the main ingredient will be getting as many laps in as we can throughout the test in both Sepang and in Portimao. Trying to understand, get comfortable with the bike as quick as we can, understand what we need when we're looking for it on the bike. Having brought people across, my crew chief included, every rider kind of speaks their own individual language, I guess you could say, when they're trying to describe what's happening on the bike. And a crew chief's job is kind of decode what the rider's saying and what he's actually looking for, because everyone will explain it differently. We've well past that sort of stage. When I say something, he knows what I mean in terms of that. He knows, okay, he means this, he means that. So that'll be definitely one less hurdle for us to jump, one less thing for us to sort of work out in the beginning. But for sure there's 100 more behind that we're going to have to work through, and race by race and be there challenging for podiums and be there fighting for podiums and hopefully victories. Like all of us, I think we all come to race a motorbike. We don't arrive to the weekend hoping that we're going to get 10th. Everyone wants to win. So of course the main goal is to try and get a win, but the biggest thing is just to show progress in every race and try our best to get as close to the front as possible, as soon as possible.
There's a fair way to go yet, I'm pretty sure. You know, he'll. One thing I know what Jack will do. Jack will do what Jack loves to do, which will be ride motorbikes and wreak havoc wherever he goes. Just enjoy himself, you know. So, yeah, that's what he'll do. He'll just keep doing it. Does it now. No reason to stop.